Ashley Byers is a ballet dancer and swimsuit model. In addition to her career with the Maryland Youth Ballet, Ashley was active in politics. Ashley's diary included an entry about how she flew on Donald Trump's plane. The billionaire showered her with compliments. Ashley wrote, "He called me a bomb, a little girl and a child." In August 2016, the girl met Douglas Benefield. Their first meeting took place at a dinner party in Florida during the presidential campaign. Doug was 54 years old and Ashley was 24 years old. Their age difference was 30 years. But this did not affect their relationship in any way. From the first days of their acquaintance, Doug considered Ashley the most beautiful and amazing girl in the world. At the time of their first meeting, Ashley was working in Donald Trump's campaign office in Sarasota, Florida. Doug was a South Carolina consultant and former Navy man. Doug was a religious man and believed that before he could have sex with Ashley, they should get married. It was for this reason that, 13 days after they met, Doug proposed marriage to Ashley. They constantly confessed their love to each other and did not doubt their choice. Pastor Trip Cormani was one of Doug's closest friends. The man agreed to perform the wedding ceremony. Doug and Ashley Benefield became husband and wife after knowing each other for less than a month. The 30-year age difference did not bother them at all. There was no one at their wedding except the pastor. Douglas was a widower. He raised his 15-year-old daughter Eva alone. The man wanted the girl to have a mother who would take care of her. However, Eva did not want a stranger to appear in their house. Eva disliked her stepmother, who was only 9 years older. Eva has already experienced serious trauma. Just 9 months ago, a girl came home from school and discovered the body of her mother, Renee. The woman died of heart failure. Doug worried about his daughter and supported her as best he could. The relationship between Doug and Eve worsened immediately after Ashley moved into their house. Ashley had a dream: to create an inclusive ballet company. She wanted this troupe to include people of different body types and different nationalities. Doug wanted to make Ashley happy. He was determined to make her dream a reality. Doug and Ashley hired a choreographer, Michael Wise, to train the dancers. According to Michael, the Benefield family dreamed of making big money from this. Doug and Ashley were hoping to raise $10 million from sponsors. They named their new company American National Ballet. In late summer 2017, dancers from all over the country began arriving in Charleston to join the inclusive ballet company. At the same time, Ashley Benefield became pregnant. The pregnancy was desired and planned. However, this event seriously affected the relationship between Ashley and Eve. The daughter and stepmother often argued. Because of their quarrels, scandals also occurred between the spouses. The situation escalated further when Doug and Ashley allowed Eve's friend Sydney to move house with them. 2 teenage girls and a new young wife were an explosive mixture in one house. One day during another quarrel, Doug fired a pistol at the ceiling. This behavior was completely unusual for a man. Ashley's pregnancy was fraught with complications. The woman suffered from toxicosis and often vomited. For this reason, she returned home to Florida so that her mother, Alicia Byers, could take care of her. Doug let his wife go, but he had no idea what would happen next. The couple began to live separately. One night, while Doug Benefield was throwing a party for the ballet company, Ashley returned home and left a letter listing all of his flaws and the reason why she didn't want to be with him anymore. In the note, Ashley called Doug controlling. She wrote that the incident in which he fired a gun into the ceiling left her fearful for her life and the safety of their unborn child. At that moment, when Doug read this letter, Ava watched with horror the expression on her dad's face. His heart was broken. This note was the beginning of the end. The man was not ready to give up. He sent Ashley letters and begged her to forgive him. One of Doug's letters contained the following words: "I am on my knees, turning my face to God and asking for your forgiveness." The following months were even more difficult for Doug. Financial difficulties began. The American National Ballet was closed. Doug lost over $100,000. It seemed that it could be worse, but it was all just beginning. The wife made a number of accusations against Doug. Ashley claimed that her husband poisoned her with tea. Afterwards, she accused him of poisoning his ex-wife Renee, who died of heart disease. In March 2018, Ashley Benefield gave birth to a daughter. The baby's name is kept secret. The baby was born approximately 3 weeks earlier than expected. The young mother did not inform Doug about this important event and did not even indicate his name on the birth certificate. Ashley named her daughter herself. It wasn't the name he and Doug had chosen. 6 months have passed. Only after this time, Doug was able to see his youngest daughter in the courtroom, as his wife Ashley still accused him of poisoning. Ashley also turned Eve against her father. The woman wrote letters to Eva, saying that it was Doug who poisoned her mother Renee. She wrote to Eve that her father was a monster, and it was better for her to stay away from him. The court did not find Doug Benefield guilty. There was no evidence that they tried to poison Ashley. Also, no evidence was found of Doug's involvement in the death of his first wife. After the trial, Ashley surprisingly became very kind to Doug. It was as if she began to play the role of a loving woman. After some time, the couple improved their relationship, but she still lived separately. Doug often took his youngest daughter with him, and Ashley happily agreed. In August 2019, when Doug once again met with Ashley to take his daughter with him, the man noticed a wedding ring on Ashley's hand. Doug hired a private investigator to find out what was going on. A private investigator discovered that Ashley was dating another man. In November 2019, Doug filed for divorce. Soon after, Ashley began filing complaints against her husband. Ashley accused Doug of sexual assault. The man categorically denied this fact. No evidence was found. In March 2020, Doug wrote an email to the sheriff's office accusing Ashley of having multiple personality disorder. But a few months later, Doug did what seemed unthinkable. The man announced that he and Ashley were going to try to be a family again and rekindle their relationship. In May 2020, Ashley said they needed to start a new life in a new home. She suggested that Doug move to Maryland. She said she would take her 2-year-old daughter and her mother, Alicia Byers, with her. Doug agreed. Ava Benefield was very worried about her father. She had a presentiment that something bad would happen, since she often saw terrible scandals in her dad's new family. On September 27, 2020, Doug was helping his wife pack for a move. Around 7 p.m., Ashley's mother took her granddaughter to a nearby park, leaving Ashley and Doug alone in the house. Suddenly, their neighbor heard screams and called 911. At this time, Ashley, with a gun in her hand, left the house and went to another neighbor. The woman said she shot her husband in self-defense and asked a neighbor to call the police. When police and medical help arrived, Doug was still alive but unable to speak. An hour later, he died in a nearby hospital. Ashley didn't tell the sheriff anything. Her mom, Alicia Byers, admitted that she and Ashley were very afraid of Doug. They lived in fear for 3.5 years. Alicia claimed that they repeatedly contacted the police, but no one wanted to help them. Ashley's allegations against her husband, Doug Benefield, were investigated by authorities, but Doug was never charged with a crime. Ashley's lawyer said she was planning to run away from her husband that day and had an escape plan. The lawyer said Ashley had a safe place to stay, a spare phone, and a rental car. Ashley had a psychologist and 2 lawyers. Ashley planned to run away, but Doug found out about this and wanted to prevent his wife from escaping. Forensic experts determined that Doug was shot twice. He was shot once in the leg and once in the arm. The second bullet also hit him in the chest area. Only Ashley knew exactly what happened, but she refused to say anything. Doug's colleague, Stephanie Murphy, admitted, to Doug, his wife Ashley was an innocent, beautiful swan, but inside she turned out to be a black, angry bird. As the case progressed, detectives determined that Doug's murder was not self-defense. Detectives determined that Doug did not have a weapon on him. Ashley shot and killed an unarmed man. There was only one old small scratch on the woman's body. If it was self-defense, then why were there no signs of violence on Ashley's body? In addition, the medical examiner determined that Doug did not see Ashley's face at the time of the shot. A woman shot her husband while his back was turned to her. Ashley Benefield was arrested 5 weeks after the shooting. She was charged with a second-degree crime. She pleaded not guilty and was released on bail. She spent only 17 days behind bars. Now Ashley lives with her mother and daughter. Eva Benefield lost not only her mother, but also her father. She makes videos for social media and jokes that her brand is a girl with dead parents. Eva admitted, "I use dark humor. This is probably how my brain works. I can't sit and be offended. I'd rather look at the good and forget the bad." Eva spends a lot of time with a dog that once belonged to her father. A girl often visits the beach on Sullivan's Island, where her father's ashes are scattered. It remains unclear whether Ashley Benefield really was saving her life, or is she still a skilled manipulator? Perhaps she is the same Black Swan from a horror movie? Ashley Benefield's trial keeps getting postponed. If Ashley is found guilty, Doug's family plans to fight for custody of his youngest daughter. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel.